All right, nerds. So we now know what a cell is and how they tend to work. We're now about to look at the organization of an organism. So we're about to look at how we go from all the cells that make it, how they're put together into a complete organism. And there are several steps in the way in this organization. So they all have to work together. So none of our cells can survive as a unicellular organism. We need to survive as a multicellular. They all have to work together. So, what's the point? You want to be able to differentiate between unicellular and multicellular. Okay. You also then want to be able to recognize the different levels of organization. Now, this here is quite fascinating because often when we think of unicellular, we think of bacteria and fungi, etc. But this one here is pretty close to an animal. This is a eukaryote, and he's called a euglena. He has an eye spot, so he reacts to light the way some animals do. He's flagellum, so he's got a way of getting around. He absorbs food, like he actually eats stuff. So, pretty close to an animal. And some taxonomists actually consider them animals. All right, so you need to remember cell theory again. So everything's made up of cells. It's the basic unit. You can't get smaller than a cell and be alive. And all cells come from pre-existing cells. Now, cells require nutrients. So that's sugar and a method to remove the byproducts, which is usually carbon dioxide. All right, so unicellular versus multicellular. So over here we have Saccharomyces cerevisiae, which are bacteria. You can see they're existing in colonies right here. So what is a unicellular? It is a simple organism made of a single generalized cell, and they're microscopic. Multicellular, so they are complex organisms. They're made of many different specialized cells, so each type of cell has a separate job. And they're generally macroscopic. That guy that we're looking at back here, euglena, he's microscopic. Now, here's a breakdown. So these are our unicellular ones. We've got some parameciums, amoebas, and we've got our bacteria. And over here we've got multicellular. So we've got plants, animals, but some of the eukaryotes go over. Okay, so it's not that clear line. We can either split things into eukaryotes and prokaryotes. Don't stress too much. We're going to split things in either unicellular or multicellular. So here are a couple more examples of some of the eukaryotes, and we're just sort of looking at these because it's kind of the last time we will for a while. But these guys actually cause quite a lot of diseases, and they're pretty interesting in general. But so yeah, we see like they don't have that round, regular shape that a bacteria will, and they're a bit more haphazard. And also they have a nucleus, by the way. That's what makes them very close to us and not very close to bacteria at all. So, organism organization. There are different levels. First, you get a cell. Then you get tissues, which are clumps of the one type of cell stuck together. Then you get organs. Organs move on to organ systems, which will then move into organisms. Cool. All right. So let's see this as an example. So we've got this one type of cell. Now these cells all work together to make up a tissue. In this case, it's an intestinal cell with intestinal lining. That's what it makes up. Then these ones all work with other types of cells to make up an organ. In this case, the intestine, small intestine. This organ, small intestine here, works with these other organs to make up the digestive system. So let's make up an organ system. See? These organ systems will work with other organ systems to make up the whole organism, which is the human. Here's another example in plants. For example, you get the root hair cell. Okay, that's its specialized cell. It forms a tissue, so it lines up with all the other root tissues. This gets together to make an organ, which is a root, which joins up with the vascular bundles to make the transport system up. And this transport system, which runs right up through the tree, it acts with other systems to make a whole entire plant. Okay, so that's pretty interesting. Now, if you're a multicellular organism, in this case we're going to look at animals in particular, these are what you require. So you require water. These are your major nutrients. You require water, dissolves, carries nutrients around the body. Okay, you need proteins. This is used for, yes, energy, but also to build new tissues, antibodies, etc. Carbohydrates is purely for energy. Fat is for long-term storage of energy, insulation and protection. You get vitamins, and you use these to help regulate your hormones, okay? And pretty much regulate chemistry inside your cells. Then you've got minerals, and these are used as building blocks, essentially. So we use these to build up cells. So we use iron to build up our blood a little bit, a particular part of our blood. We use calcium to build up our teeth, and so forth. And so that's just a quick little intro there into the way we organize bodies, as well as some of the things that these bodies need.